This week on Hermitcraft, cue the theme song.
Dragon Bros, does whatever a Dragon Bro does. Don't blow up, no we won't, 'cause we're bros, Dragon Bros. You a child, we are the Dragon Bros.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and it's a Christmas miracle that any of these hermits are still card-carrying members of the Alive team.
I don't want to go near them though.
My one regret to Demise reaching its peak is that I will not be there to comment on it. Just a reminder, next week and the week after, the recap will be hosted by our writer, ZloyXP. And for those people who keep commenting that they want to see more videos voiced by him, he has his own channel, you know. This episode, in the meantime, will cover the events up until last Friday, meaning that at the time of us writing it, 5 people still remain living, and if you heard that it's just 4, that's just live streamist propaganda. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
B-Dubs is still sick 2 months later. I haven't smelled or tasted anything for 2 months. It's great. I love life.
Starting with B-Dubs, who's out in search of a pet dog. Oh yeah, his castle is done too. No big deal.
I mean, B-Dubs went crazy. Didn't I go nutso balutso? I think it's looking pretty nice.
The self-proclaimed leader of the Dragon Bros is done with the exterior fortifications and has moved on to designing interiors for the whole family. We're not sure when his kids got on the whitelist, but they've got their own bedroom, so I guess it's canon now. The only interruption to an otherwise seamless moving day is him finding a trap designed specifically for perfectionist path builders. Someone on this server knows their audience, but B-Dubs got the drop on them this time.
Look at that! I disarmed this. Oh, they think they're so clever.
Sadly for the other Dragon Bros, they don't have a fancy home anymore after it was obliterated, along with Grian, by a TNT trap. Iskall returns to the bunker to play detective, discovering that the pressure plate which opened the dragon's mouth was rigged up to a deadly timer. With the main bunker compromised, he settles on a new bro cave location and makes the immediate mistake of telling everyone where it is, but the smart move of surrounding the main chamber with glass and water so it's more difficult to trap, or as we now know it, the zombie Cleo maneuver.
This might be the smartest thing I've ever done. Now that being said, to be fair, it's not a lot of smart things that I've done in my time, so, you know.
After making a brief visit to the dead quarters and deciding it's not worth it, Iskall makes a start on a redstone component factory over at his island base, setting up systems which will deliver the exact quantities of items required to craft, say, 2 stacks of redstone torches or a few dozen comparators. He gets introduced to a few more redstone components when he returns to his untrappable base to discover it has been trapped, and triggers the trap by destroying some minecart rails, but survives thanks to the literal wall of water. One thing's for sure, someone on the server is getting seriously minecart happy.
But a Dragon Bro doesn't blow up. I mean, Grian did. Iskall doesn't blow up. Yes, Iskall doesn't blow up.
Joe Hills is one step ahead, and not just because the first thing he did this week was transfer part of his soul into a chicken.
Is there like a Harry Potter equivalent to this I've heard of? And yes, there is. The answer is Horcrux.
We didn't read anything about that in the Demise rulebook, so legal move, I guess. But he's dodging the inevitable by choosing not to have a base at all, and just nomad his way through the outer reaches of the server. Unfortunately, he also chooses to livestream the whole thing, which gives Cubfan plenty of opportunity to track him down. Finding himself at a stalemate with the ever-escaping Mr. Hills, Cub finds a much more sinister way to lure him out and kidnaps Joe's recently tamed dog, Joe Pup.
This is the creepiest thing I have seen in-game in quite some time.
But sensing that Joe Hills might go full John Wick, he quickly drops off the mutt for false symmetry to deal with. After all, it's about time she scored a kill of her own. She actually goes a more humane route, giving Joe a way to get the doggo back if a convoluted and dangerous one. Through the last known whereabouts of Joe, she scatters a single word, split into books on lecterns, that will reveal the hiding place of Joe Pup. Except it doesn't. It leads him to a trapped lectern that drops him into a lava pool and sprinkles TNT on top. Or it would if Joe didn't masterfully defuse the thing by removing the book from the lectern and yeeting himself away with an ender pearl before reading it. Curiosity leads him to trigger the trap just to find out what it was going to do, then he heads off in search of the actual location of his dog. Nary a woof is heard in the dead quarters, so he expands his search radius to the swamp nearby and finds it just chilling in a boat, howling to the tune of Scar's time-lapse music.
Who's the guy who can conquer death? That's Joe Hills.
Mr. Good Times uses quite a bit of that this week, as Scar needs to fix up the backside of his reverse murder mansion, plus get some electricity into the place. Unfortunately, the nearest power line is a ways away, and copper isn't in the game to begin with, so Scar settles for the next best thing, a storm cloud over the lair with a bolt hitting the lightning rod. And hey, it comes with a solution to the chest monster. He can just store all his stuff in the cloud.
And look at this place at night, lit up with the strike of the lightning on the tower, and it literally brings like a tear to my eye.
Not far away, the machinations of the dead continue on a whole new level, very literally, as their puzzle traps have reached the second floor and are crammed into the clocks.
Lectern, it says start at floor 2. So here on floor 2, time is key, but all the clocks read differently. Find the right time for each clock, and the next path you will unlock.
Though Cub fans' tinkering is not limited to the dead quarters, and he stops by the Christmas minigolf area to put together a whole new course full of trick shots. He even drops off a beacon for False to replace the one he evaporated when killing her, so Cub's not bad after all, once you get past his whole steal your dog and try to kill you phase. The same might be said for Azuma, who stops by Doc M's raid farm to apologise for pufferfishing his villagers to death. But when X seems to strike a bargain with Doc, he's actually just luring him to his almost certain doom in the dead quarters itself, with the promise of that book of traps containing all the dead team's secrets. After doing a little more work on the farm and demonstrating quite how OP it is in a creative test world,
so I'm gonna look up now a little bit and you can get a basic idea what the heck is going on here.
Doc takes the bait and flings himself into the sinister corridors of the Grayscale's mansion. The last we saw of him, he'd just found the map room and learned about the banner puzzle. We can only assume he's still there, trying to figure out what all the instructions mean. While the Halloween district has been claiming its victims one by one, there's been a flurry of activity over in Christmas Town. Azuma is sure making a lot of racket with his TNT-trapped nether portal, but that thing doesn't actually do any damage to players, so all is forgiven. Heck, his addition to the minigolf course can do more damage than that glorified petard.
And the idea is to shoot it on into this soul sand, and it hops up to the next floor.
Impulse decides to make the holiday season a little bit more threatening by returning Ghaster Claws to the festivities. Getting a Ghast from the Nether to the overworld is no mean feat, and it takes a few attempts before one is ready for the clawsing, but you've got to admit that the beard suits it, and building a Santa hat turns out to be good practice for Impulse's secret Santa prank.
We got Cub Fan. We got build a TNT Santa hat at their base.
Keralis and B-Dubs also receive a name and a cause, though much less jovial in nature. Their deal with Azuma has come home to roost, and it clucks for human Cleo. Under the pretense of touring the idea stock to her, they lure Cleo into the work-in-progress part of the facility. They do actually negotiate the prices of the lots with her, but it's no help. She isn't buying it for a second.
Have you seen this amazing structure which is called Idea?
Would you like me to lie? Because I built stuff in there.
You did? Oh.
At last, Cleo meets her demise on a bed of wither roses, but does not return to her zombie form just yet. Because not all dead humans are zombies, even when supernaturally resurrected.
Oh! I trusted you! Oh, guys, you don't know what you've done.
We're not sure which of the above terms applies to the armor stand residents of TFC's vault, one of whom appears to have hulked out since last week. TFC doesn't seem all that intimidated, but that might have been a fatal mistake, not because of the mutant itself, but because the guidebook on how to deal with the mutant is a fall trap ending in a lava pit.
For your use. Well...
After he'd done such a good job of avoiding the lava pit outside of iTrade, he meets his end boiled alive in his own vault. And then to add insult to injury, he respawns on the surface and has to dirt block his way through the countermeasures he'd placed over the main entrance before he can get back into his own base. Grian too is in for a rude awakening. For one, he is dead, and for two, the oversized restocking spreadsheet he's made in the Sahara meeting room is just a less technologically advanced version of Iskall's stock tracking lamp basement. The former he uses to his advantage, armed with several videos of his own on traps and trap making, and also with Good Times with Scar for good measure. Grian sets off to score his first post-mortem murder. The victim of choice is Keralis, whose bunker they locate easily and infiltrate with a swift right-click. Really, the hardest part was recognizing it without the shader pack.
How did you find out about this?
Dude, viewers are the biggest tattletales in the world when it comes to streams.
I
We
know,
love them
right?
for it.
I'm like, hey guys, don't tell anyone about this. What do? Straight in the comments. Hey, guess what? Scar went in your base and made a trap.
Now knowing where the emergency exit is, Grian and Scar plop a mock-up of a regular village house on top of it and fill it with freshly caught pufferfish. There is a shop for those in the dead team swamp, guys. You could have saved about half an hour. They even make a bet as to which one takes Keralis out, and wouldn't you know it, Scar wins. But perhaps not in the most satisfying way. Long before the resident of the bunker has a chance to sleep with the fishes, he's blown up by a very different bird. It turns out the Tango Tech torture puzzle room from before did not go unnoticed after all, and Mumbo Jumbo did find it collecting dust under his base. Not quite brave enough to take it for a spin himself, he instead called upon Keralis to get in and poke it with a stick. So, knowing full well that the thing is going to kill him, Keralis leaps in, but then Knight instantly blows it all up by hitting the end crystal with an egg. Which is no wonder. Last season he was on, those things weren't even craftable.
When you said the purple spinny thing, I'm assuming there is an end crystal. Dude!
I've activated it.
What was that?
Yeah, just try not to hit the crystal.
What happened? Dude, what happened? Dude, no!
Fortunately, Mumbo then finds a much more controlled way of obtaining giant holes. He has become the Underminer. He is beneath you, but nothing is beneath him. And that's not just a reference for reference's sake. Mumbo is creating a giant machine that will TNT out the foundations of the earth. This is not a drill. Oh wait, sorry, it is actually a drill. At least, the concrete representation of a drill gets built above what we presume is the tunneling machine's starting point. The machine itself still needs a few tweaks and tests in creative before it can be built on the server and not explode itself. This is pretty standard redstone stuff by now. You know the drill.
This is super nerve-wracking stuff.
And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. In the end screen theatre today is a very festive video of our writer struggling with gravity, and a Minecraft map that transforms Minecraft into the most Hytale-like interpretation of a magic RPG. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, Zloy will see you next week, and I'll see you next year.